Hey folks, Elaine Marolakos Edelson here with AstrologyMojo. I want to help you get your mojo back. So today we are doing the oracle reading for next month, like we do at the end of every month, but I won't. Yeah, that's it. We're at the end of this month on a Thursday for me. Okay, so come by, say hello. I want you to look at the images and get a feeling for, whoopsie, wait a minute. There it is. Get a feeling for which crystal speaks to you. Now, every month I do this and I'll pick a different image, usually 3 images, and there's a vibe associated with it. And then I meditate and then I pre-shuffle the cards. And so for the first deck today, associated with the labradorite right here is the Sacred Forest Oracle, Denise Linn. And that's the deck that chose the labradorite. And so the next crystal, the rose quartz crystal, chose, and I pre-shuffled and meditated on them, but we're also going to pull other cards to go with. So the secret language of light is what came out for the rose quartz crystal right here by Denise Jarvie. And then for the quartz crystal right here, it was the White Light Oracle book, Alana Fairchild, with Andrew Gonzales's amazing artwork. And what I'm doing for this particular crystal are the solfeggio frequencies. So to help tune you up, give you a tune up. So when you're doing, or when you're choosing an image, go with the one that feels like, for whatever reason. And for you, it might be, I just like the colors in it, or you want to apply it to a specific issue, like that's the one that speaks to me about this thing that's been on my mind. Or it can be for your sun, rising, and moon sign in astrology, if you want to apply it to astrological issues. So, but just tune in by taking a nice deep breath and getting centered and just seeing what is the first impression that comes to you when looking at any of these images. The labradorite crystal, which I actually have one. It's not the same one, but I have one right here on my desk. The labradorite crystal, the rose quartz in the center, or the clear quartz. Whichever one immediately speaks to you is typically your intuition giving you a message right before your brain steps in and says, but I like that one first, or no, that matches my shoes, or whatever. So go with your intuition. That's what this is all about. And choose a crystal that really feels like this is the one. And you can choose them all, and they could be for different reasons. It can be your sun, your rising, your moon, as I said. It can be for a specific issue. It can be for helping someone else, thinking, that middle one just reminds me of my cousin, and then you pick that one. So however it comes to you, because all the clairs are active, especially now as we're heading into the shadow phase of the Mercury in retrograde. And again, planets don't go into backwards motion. It looks like from the position of the Earth that they're moving backwards. But we're going to talk about that next Thursday. So, but right now, just tune in to which crystal speaks to you and take a nice deep breath. And we're going to get started. So if you're just stopping by, Elaine Marolakos Edelson, and we're doing our oracle reading for August. Okay. So the card that came out, if you chose the first crystal, the labradorite, the card that came out is raven spirit. And it means truth. And it's all about you speaking your truth right now. And before you can speak your truth, you really have to live it fearlessly and to let go of what is not authentic in your life. So if you chose this crystal, the guidance is asking you to not just know how you feel, but live it. Live how you feel and be that honest. Be that honest with yourself and with others. And the Raven card also sometimes represents hearing your truth from an outside source. So in ancient mythology, especially in Greek mythology, the ravens were thought to be messengers of the gods and to give you something. And you know what's so fascinating to me is that I chose this stone for this reading for myself as well. I chose this one before I knew what the cards were, and I take a morning walk, and it's about a mile. And I was walking this morning at dawn, and I have headphones in so I can listen to a podcast. And what I heard was around me, I looked up and there was a tree and there were 3 ravens and they were cawing like crazy. And so I just looked at them, and one landed on a branch, and as I walked by, it just followed me as I watched it. And I thought, okay, what? So this reading applies to me as well. And that is, if you need to let go of not just a way of being, it's, these things are so easy to say in metaphysics. It's just let that go. Yeah. Okay. Put me in a self-induced coma and maybe I can let it go. But if you focus on what feels right in the moment that it's happening and say to yourself, this feels true. And that can also relate to the tasks you engage in, the people you talk to, the friends you have, the family you associate with, anything that's happening in your life right now. I just lost the page. Let me see what she says. And this is Denise Linn, Sacred Forest Oracle. Yeah, I agree with this. The hardest thing about living your truth is knowing exactly what that is. But we're all vibrational beings. And so you get an impulse, just like you did picking one of these stones, the images. You get an impulse and you know that you've gotten an impulse, and you immediately might override it by thinking something else, by looking at what's happening out in the world. Or instead of thinking, oh, wow, that was strong, or I just smelled rosemary, or I just had this feeling. So the Raven spirit brings to you a message of, let's listen to our inner truth. If you chose that first one. And I had to make a decision this morning, which is not set in stone, and it's not an extreme, but I went to an extreme. And when I thought, well, no, I don't really want to do that, I'm going to go that way, that felt truer. So this card and stone apply so much to me today. I hope they do to you as well. And just the setting of nature takes me to, I have the ability to walk out where I live. Literally, I took this picture a couple years ago after a rainstorm. I have that ability. If you live in a big city and you're on the 10th floor, make a little Zen garden for yourself, or find a park nearby, find a tree, because the frequency that you can gain from trees and nature will help to anchor you further into your truth faster than you would think. So, a lot of times when the truth represents the parts of us that I don't want to see it. If I have to see it, I have to deal with it. And I can't deal with that right now. I've got laundry, I got the kids, I got bills, I got stuff. I can't do it right now. But the greater truth is who you are on this earth as a divine, celestial, eternal being. instead of getting stuck in the swirl of, got to get the stuff done. Make sure you give yourself time to know what your truth is. And so if you chose the labradorite stone, the raven card, the truth, it's also numerologically, it's a 32, which equals a 5 equals transformation. 3 is inner communication, not opening your mouth and talking first. It's perception. So the 32, let me see the number. Where is it? It's backwards. There it is, 32. So the 32 on this card is saying, okay, 3, know your perceptions and your beliefs. Number 1. Know what you think right now, because if you're focused on something, if a beautiful sun is rising and you're focused on that lady over there who's throwing garbage out of her car, you know what I mean? It's like, what's your perception? What's got your attention right now? What's making you doubt yourself right now? We're going to pull a clarity card. And so if you're doubting yourself right now, I want you to take a deep breath. Or if you know the direction you want to go in, perhaps it's time to be that honest with other people instead of hiding, or instead of pretending that, it'll work itself out. But the angst is there. My dad used to say to me, you could be a healthy carnivore or depressed vegetarian. Which one? Like if you're because he was a vegan and also a vegetarian, but he said to me, you could be a really happy carnivore or depressed vegetarian. You got to go with the vibe. And it's like, I hear his voice over and over again sometimes when I'm making decisions that affect me, my family, my health, my well-being, my future. So if you're at a crossroads, labradorite, raven spirit, speaking the truth, get honest with yourself. Take the time to get present and really know that if you're in your truth, you will create a frequency and a vibration that will bring further truth to you. Now, let's use the crystal spirit. Since we're looking at crystal images today, we're going to use Colette Reid's crystal spirit for some clarification on the truth. Come by, say hello to me. Hi, Teresa. Okay. All right. Mixing up the crystal spirits right now and wondering why my hair got lumpy. I don't know. Why? The camera's there, but I've got the thing there and the thing down here. So, all right. Clarifier for the raven. Carnelian. Carnelian is a red stone, and in all these cards, she has images and faces. And I don't know if you can see that. It almost looks obtuse, but there's a woman there, and it's a very earthy feeling. So it's getting down to earth. Carnelian is a grounding stone. It's red, typically sometimes orange. I want to see what she has to say. And the number on this card is 14. It equals a 5. Independence, also being very practical and being ready to organize things and to come out of the idea that, you work for others. You don't. I mean, you may have a day job and you work for someone else, but it's your choice to do that. So it's about being that honest. Increased confidence, dignity, poise, and self-assurance. So help you grow your confidence so that you can experience whatever is happening without the judgment. Give yourself credit and know that you make the best decisions for the good of all when you feel self-assured because you're connected to the conscious universe. So raven spirit. Oh, I like how the colors match, actually. Raven spirit, the truth, and the carnelian stone are asking you to be that present and that truthful. Now, you don't have to be blunt. Candor is a lovely thing when it's coupled with compassion, but it's not about telling somebody else what you think about that. It's you looking in the mirror, telling yourself, you know what? I don't think I want to do that anymore. You know what? I think that's the way I want to go. Yeah. I mean, it can be a simple question like, oh, which bicycle do I buy? Well, once you've done the research deep down, your heart knows the answer. And so go with that information first. So if you chose labradorite, you already know it's time to clear the false perceptions and beliefs that you have that help creating situations that repeat the past, because that's what we do. That we're hardwired to repeat the past, and if we don't change something, it doesn't change. It just will show up looking differently, but it'll feel the same. So when you're ready, sit down, get quiet, ask yourself, what's the thing that's been hovering in your brain? If you chose the labradorite, and start listening to the moment that gets your attention. Take a deep breath and get present with what your beliefs are and start to change your thinking, knowing that you already have the truth, you already are the truth, and it's just aligning with it. Okay, for those of you who chose, and I hope that was helpful, for those of you who chose the rose quartz, I cannot help but look down here and I see a bear. I see a bear walking toward me. I don't know if anybody else sees that, but I mean, look at that. There's his head, there's his body, and he's coming this way. I don't know. That's what I see. Okay. So for this one, we've got Denise Jarvie, The Secret Language of Light. And this was pre-shuffled earlier. And the card that I pulled on this one is Discover What You Love. First one is Know Your Truth, Discover What You Love, and it is joy. Focus on joy. What gives you joy? What alters that vibration? And if you chose the labradorite for one issue and then this stone, the second stone, the rose quartz for a different issue, perhaps you're seeing a theme growing here. Okay, so joy. This is a really pretty mosaic, and it doesn't have green in it. I don't know why my green screen is showing weirdness, but joy is a 27, which equals a 9. 2 is coming together through empathy with others. And 7 is introspection, and also really digging deep into your spiritual beliefs and how they might be serving you or limiting you. So the 9 is the ending of something. So if you are not engaged in joy, and I mean joyful activities like I watch comedy. I'll watch something on YouTube that makes me laugh. Different comedians. And it's the simple thing. Again, this is all about everything's about vibration. What you are thinking and feeling is creating your next moment. And that's the truth that shows up. Whatever is coming your way validates what you've been thinking and feeling in the past couple of days or months, if it's a constant thought. So we want to raise the level of vibration to that place of joy. What feels, and it doesn't have to be extravagant. Watering your garden. I take joy in weeding. I have some plants in the house that they have quick turnaround of bursts of flowers, and then there's like these little strings of dead things. I get in there and it's almost like I feel like a chimpanzee. You know how they groom one another. when I need to get calm and find joy, I'll look at something that needs to be cleaned and I will just go, oh, don't you feel better? I said to my clematis this morning, so do what you love. And it can be so simple, having a cup of tea and not having a cup of tea and thinking about all the issues that are happening in the world or how crazy that thing was that came through and the tornado and took their houses. I'm not talking about that. It's like, what is the thing in you that creates well-being? What part of your thought process creates well-being? And it can be simply allowing yourself to sit down and do nothing for 10 minutes. In this busy world, everyone's got a to-do list and an agenda. How often do you allow yourself to just sit still and be in the moment? this moment, right now. It's quiet. I give you permission to be in this moment. Joy is your natural state of being, and now is the time to honor it. So if you wrote down, and she has journal work and inspired action, watching, she has read or watch your favorite comedy and laugh out loud. Yeah, top of my list. Put some fun music on. I do that too. Dance. And in a journal, she says, draw or write about 7 things you enjoy doing. It doesn't matter what they are. The more simple that they are, the easier it is to embrace them. And playtime encourages creative genius and access to your soul wisdom. All right, so who's resisting? Who's resisting joy? I think everybody does until they don't. So even in this matrix, when you see this configuration, there's a heart at the center. And this particular mandala would be attributed to a Hebrew symbol. But if you look at all the triangles that they create in astrology, or the elements, it's air, fire, water, and earth. And then the center is a heart. And so when you look at this, I want you to imagine that you're part of the tapestry and there's no beginning and there's no end, but you're the bright center. And that all these threads, all these shapes and loops and angles take you in a new direction only if they give you joy. If they don't, stop. Go in a different direction. Now, of course, excuse me, if you're working at a job, you can't just get up and leave, right? So that's not what I'm talking about. We're not looking at extremes here. It's more about in the moment that you have to get something done, give yourself 30 seconds, 60 seconds. Someone once said to me, Gandhi had the same amount of time that you have. What's 60 seconds? Find a moment of peace. Find something that like this new top. It's all cotton, and I touch it and I go, oh, this is really soft. That's a joyful moment for me when I touch cotton. It is. Or something smooth like hematite crystal. It's like, oh, that's really smooth. I like that. So these little moments are going to help you to get back to center. And you might say, excuse me, Elaine, I was thinking about my financial situation when I picked the second crystal. It's like, okay, great. If thinking about money stresses you out, stop thinking about it. Start thinking about how much you already have. Start thinking about how grateful you are for the opportunity to make more money, for the opportunity to change your mind in order to have more abundance or prosperity. Remember, we're looking at a 2, that's partnership and empathy, and then the 7, that's introspection. It equals a 9. 9 is the end, and the end before the beginning. So what is it that you need to end? What type of thinking that takes you out of joy? Oh, Elaine, I picked the second crystal because I was thinking about my love life. Okay, you're single, or you're married, or you've got a significant other and you argue a lot, or you're just not feeling like, oh, where's the spark? Okay, it's not about the person. It's not about the situation, although that's a starting point. Come back to, what gives me the most joy? When I see this person, does my heart open? If not, maybe a conversation needs to happen. Let's pull some crystal clarifiers and find out. Come say hello to me. This is your August oracle, and you can use any of these stones for any specific or personal reason. Wealth, health, passion, purpose, sun, rising, moon. Come say hello. Tell me where you're from and which stone you chose, or perhaps which stone you chose for what reason. Oh, all right. Oh, Auralite came out in conjunction with joy. So here's Auralite. And Auralite, I actually have one. My husband bought me this. Here's my Auralite. See, it's got rainbows in it. And it's kind of chunky, but it's got smooth spots. And this number is 8. So aura light represents meditation. And if you're having trouble finding joy, it's time to get quiet. And if you resist getting quiet, it's time to ask yourself, if this were a game, would I want to play it again? We play games to have fun, to create strategies, to, when my kid Aaliyah was in high school or grammar school, and this is where all the kids came to play. They would sit on the floor. They would sit at the table. They would, oh, let's play this. They would make up games. They had board games, but the kids would make up games. And it still happens today. My kid is 25 years old, and they've had, they were working 2 jobs. And I'd say, what are you doing on the weekend? Okay, so we're going to have game night on Sunday morning because everybody's been having a rough week. So we just, and it's like on purpose, to have fun, to play, to be light, to laugh, to commune with others. So aura light is the energy of communion and meditation. And the number 8 on its side is infinity. And we're coming up on the Lion's Gate, which we'll be talking about in the weeks to come. The Lion's Gate, we're in it now. The portal has begun, actually, technically the 26th of July. And so during this time, if you chose the rose quartz, and the colors match, I love that. If you chose this, take the time to get quiet, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, deep breathing in through the nose, hold for a count of 4, and then just when you think you can't hold it anymore, suck in a little more air, and then exhale for a count of 7. And what that does, and do that 10 times in a row, 5 times in a row, and what that does is it immediately lowers cortisol and raises endorphins, the happy chemicals, just from oxygenating your lungs. So that's a meditation. Sweeping can be a meditation. Whatever it is that can help you align body, mind, spirit, bring you to center, bring you to the now. In the now, your mind doesn't have to think about what's not working in your life. When we focus on what's not working, it gets bigger. When we focus on how do we handle this problem, we're creating more energy around the problem. And it's so hard for people to just detach from it because they think, if I think about it, I'll come up with the answer. Well, if you think about it to understand what the situation is, stop right there. Now go do something that gives you joy. Because the more you increase your vibration of joyful energy, the sooner the problem starts to diminish and or solutions come your way. That's how energy works. That is how energy works. It doesn't mean you sit and do nothing. It doesn't mean you do everything. There are no extremes in this scenario. So please take, and you know what? Let me look at her book and see what she says about aura light, meditation, communing with others of like mind. And I'm talking about your team in spirit. You have dreams, you have connections. People have said, I know my grandmother's hanging out. I know she's here. You have star seeds, you have your team in spirit. So when you meditate, you'll connect with them. All right, number 8. Okay. Be here in this moment, fully present, and accept what is. Make the time to meditate today and simply observe what you know and feel without starting to talk yourself out of it and into something else. Stay present is the message. No matter how hard this moment may seem, simply by observing it, you will change it. And that is how energy works. Scientists know this. Einstein knew it. Just by looking at something, you alter the vibration because you're putting all of you onto it. So imagine if you were a little bit more peaceful, a little bit more zenned out, a little bit more, everything works out for me. I love that I am love. I know this is going to work. I know that there will be so many options available to me. Even in this moment, I might feel kind of frustrated, or I might feel like I have too much to do to sit still. Just, I know I can allow myself to sit still. And that moment is right around the corner. So if you allow it to happen, it will. And then the joy increases. I hope that was helpful. Taking a sip, and then we're moving on to the quartz crystal. Okay. Oh, I see. Hi, Sasha. You chose number 2. Well, I hope that helped. Okay. So we're moving on to number 3, and we're doing solfeggio frequencies with the quartz crystal. So whatever it is that you were drawn to with this crystal, and I'm telling you, and I don't make stuff, I almost cursed. I don't make stuff up. I have a roll of tuning forks and for the solfeggio frequencies. And when I picked them up off of the shelf, this one came flying out and landed on the floor. And I was like, oh, whoops. And it's the 528 frequency. And the card that came out is the 528 frequency. And it's called the Mandala of the Heart. Look at Andrew Gonzales's work. It's just brilliant. And the way he paints and does his airbrushing, that when it's lit properly, it looks dimensional. So the dark shadows move away from the light of the art. It's just brilliant. Anyway, Mandala of the Heart, 528 hertz. So if you chose the clear quartz, I just want you to, and everybody, listen to this. 528 deals with transformation and moving energy from your DNA, literally altering your genes. So I just want you to take a nice deep breath and close your eyes. And if you have headphones in, please be aware I'm about to make a sound with the tuning fork. Nice deep breath. And so this frequency of transformation for the card is about a healing process. And 528 is the card of altering DNA. But when you just think about it this way, you have homework, right? You remember being in school and you have homework, and it's like, as soon as I'm done with my homework, I can watch my favorite TV show, or I can go outside and play. And that energy that's ignited with 528 is the energy of cellular creation. I mean, we're talking spiritual, physical, the marrying of biology with divinity, and combining the two for transcendence, to make it practical, make it real, but keep the vibe high without getting tied down. So let me read some of what Alana wrote to this image. Love is the path to the transformational, the alchemical, and the miraculous. It is the means by which negative patterns are reversed, and the original purity and beauty of our innate spiritual perfection can manifest itself in all dimensions, including the physical. So if you chose this third crystal and you're having any kind of physical issue, or you're frustrated, or you don't allow yourself to love yourself, and you might be separate from, a partner, or you're grieving someone's passing, or you just look in the mirror and go, why bother? Why bother? Then look in the mirror again after listening to this frequency And go online, go to YouTube and start looking for the solfeggio frequencies will be masked with music or other instruments, but go look for 528 and find the sound that you like the best, because the underlying frequency will be 528. And go listen to that when close your eyes and just feel the vibe. Where does it show up in your body? Where does it vibrate the most? Sometimes when I'll do this, and if I'm working on someone in person, and I do that, and then, the tuning fork goes here. It's like, oh yeah, that feels good. And then it goes here, and they're like, oh, I felt that. It went through my neck and my torso, So it's like the frequency of any vibration, which is what we are, is going to affect you. Put some water in a glass and put it next to music. And you can do this with, if you have tuning forks, you can do this. Put this on a cup that you can see from the outside, and watch the water will start to vibrate. And that frequency creates a visual pattern. And you can see all about that on YouTube with frequency, especially solfeggio frequencies, and how sand is put on a drum plate and the frequency is turned up or altered, and the sand makes images, mandalas. It makes beautiful artistry. And so you want to think to yourself, what thoughts, now this sounds like number 2 and number 1, but of the crystals, but what thoughts are you thinking that's altering your vibration, that's stopping you from loving who you are? I love that I am love. And we all, get kicked off the curb and go, I worked out for 6 months and I gained 5 pounds. Why? Or whatever the case is. So think about this particular crystal, if you chose this one, and look at the imagery. I see birds flying in this one. I saw a bear in this one. I mean, like, I see pictures and everything, but when I looked at this one, I felt like this wind swooping sideways and off the horizon, and that there's this beauty of flow and the energy of flow when love is at the core and the heart of it all. Now, your physical heart represents love, but the emotional heart has held on to emotions that no longer serve it. So utilizing the frequency 528 or listening to it on YouTube, and realizing, okay, if I could make one alteration to how I think about myself. And I think it was Gary Brecka who talked about this, or Andrew Holman, a neuroscientist, talked about doing this exercise where you stand 6 feet away from a mirror and get a quick vibe. Stand 6 feet away from a mirror if you can, and get a quick vibe on just looking at yourself, and then go up close. Guaranteed that perception will change, and so will the vibe and the frequency. And the closer you get to the image, the more distorted the feeling of self-love. That's the day and age we live in right now. Before mirrors, the only mirror was the outside world. When someone would look at you and say, oh, you look beautiful in that scarf, or the birds would chirp, or the trees would blossom, and that was your mirror. But now you look in the mirror, and what do you see? We'd like you to see self-love, the mandala of the heart, and to start feeling and cultivating and reading anything or listening to anything that alters that vibration. I want to get a crystal on this. Where are the cards? What did I do with the cards? Oh, there they are. Okay. So I hope this is helping and making sense. Remember to share, like, subscribe. Next week, we're going to be talking about the Mercury going into retrograde in Leo. Right now, we're looking at a clarifier to go even further with the quartz crystal and the mandala of the heart, the frequency of 528, and your transformation from the inside out. All right, so what crystal would like to accompany this? Oop, nope. They thought about it and then said no. Okay, that's a definite yes. Seraphos green quartz, and then it's a 50. Okay, now this may not show up because I've got green screen, but you can get the idea of it. And there's an image. You see the image? Now, I don't own Seraphos, and I don't know what Seraphos is. That's why there's a book. So 55 is transformation. It's all about transformation, isn't it? At the end of the day, at the end of the moment, when you've had your tantrum or you've had your, I just ran a race. I think I need to stop and sit down and have a drink of water. All right, 50. It's all about transforming who we are in the moment by bring it back to the moment, bring it back to the moment, be present, be present, be present. Okay, let's see what this means. Life on life's terms. Joie de vivre. An acceptance of our place in the world, heaven on earth, and what is meant to be. When the wheel of fortune turns, you may look back on this moment as crucial for your growth. Pivotal, I would call it a turning point. Very often, unanswered prayers and unexpected twists of fate lead to the destiny the heart seeks. Trust now in this process of acceptance. Trust that the conscious universe has your back. Something wonderful is awaiting you, but first you must be present in what it is so that you can have this experience and receive the gift of recognizing that you are stronger than you know. Wow. I'll have to go look for this stone since I live in the world of crystals. That's a very powerful message. And I always find green very healing anyway. It almost looks like the color of moldavite. Where's my moldavite? It's not over here. And they're all over my desk. It's like dusting is a chore and a pleasure because I get to play with them. So the number 50, it's a 5, and it relates to transformation. You've heard me talk about this if you know me. And 5 sits on a rocker. The number 5 sits on a rocker. Thinking about it. I'm not ready to move forward. Thinking about it. I'm not ready to move forward. Thinking about it. You know what? No or yes. And then you shoot out of the chair. So transformation comes when you're ready to be as present as possible and embrace the part of you that you've been denying. And too many times, again, mandala of the heart, looking in the mirror, we get stuck with the opinions of others, the ego sense, the I gotta be a certain way for others to think that I'm okay. So the whole message here is do not trust your fears. Your fears are creating a false reality or false perception. So it's time to change the way you think about yourself, how you feel about yourself, and to put that message into incremental changes, not like I'm done. And then, you fly to France and you start a different business. Of course, if you want to do that, go do that. But you want to be heartfelt when you're manifesting, because people will say to me so many times, how do you manifest? I'm like, look at your life. You did that. Yay. High five. Good job. And if you don't like it, then change the vibe. I think all these crystals are saying, and cards are saying something very similar. And that is find the truth in the present moment while you're still, love who you are, expand on that. And you'll make magic happen. And then with this Seraphos green quartz, I have to go find it. I've never seen it before in town. In a reading, this oracle, here, let me show you the image. In a reading, this oracle affirms that honoring deep soul bonds and sharing healing with your soul tribe is an important facet of your purpose. So don't isolate. If you chose the quartz crystal, do not isolate. Share yourself. If you're the one who's always taking charge and in control and nothing ever goes wrong and why would we, she doesn't need help. It's like, open your heart and let people know I need help. Ask for it. ask for friends to take you to the store, or, you know, if someone at the supermarket says, oh, can I help you out with your bags? Say yes. Yes, because I have mandala of the heart 528 transformation, solfeggio frequency, and seraphos. Of course, they'll look at you like you're insane, but you're accepting help because you can't always just be giving it. It's got to come back. There has to be flow. All right. All right. We're going to close this out with one of my favorite decks, The Universal Laws of Conscious Creation by Lara Solara, Dana DuPoint, and Marlene Chapman. Thank you for being here, folks. Next week, we're going to be talking about the Mercury in retrograde, so please come back, and how it might play itself out in your world. Okay. Any final messages? Right here. Oh, concentration. I used to play that game when I was a kid. Okay, that's cool. All right, that's a very green thing, but again, because of, let me put it, where's the rainbow? Put it there. It actually is a green image of like, I can't describe it. Concentration. Just focus on the colors. What is the thing that gets your attention the most? Concentrate. When we focus on concentration, we are in the present moment. And that concentration puts all of our energy, all the stuff we don't want, the unconscious, the conscious, the subconscious, superconscious, non-conscious, it puts all of us, everything we've ever experienced goes into that moment. But if your prefrontal cortex is on it and you've just done, you did some meditation, you feel really happy, you're joyful, you're still, you're present, you're loving who you are in your life, you're grateful, and gratitude raises frequency. That is scientific evidence now. Gratitude raises frequency. And if you've got that, then you can concentrate on anything you want and perform a miracle. And that's manifesting. It sounds like magic. It's actually manifesting. All right, folks, please remember to share, like, subscribe. Thank you so much for being here. As always, I wish you peace. I appreciate you. And there's so much love coming from my heart to yours. And I want to see you just, go do a dance, love your life. I will see you next week, and we'll talk about the Mercury in retrograde. Thank you.